Welcome to Economic Frontiers, the podcast where we explore the cutting-edge issues shaping our global economy. I'm Michael Reynolds, and today we're diving into a critical issue affecting advanced economies across the world, graduate unemployment.
And I'm Emma Chen. It's great to be here, Michael. Today's topic touches on a paradox that's emerging in Western economies. Despite record levels of educational attainment, many recent graduates are struggling to find employment that matches their qualifications. In fact, the data shows some concerning trends.
That's right, Emma. Let's put this in perspective for our listeners. As of the latest data from June 2025, new college graduates in the U.S. are facing an unemployment rate of 4.8%, compared to the overall national rate of 4.0%. This gap is quite unusual historically.
It's particularly striking because traditionally, having a college degree has been a reliable shield against unemployment. But recent research from Oxford Economics indicates that structural shifts and hiring patterns, particularly in the tech sector, combined with the growing impact of AI, are driving higher unemployment among recent college graduates.
And this isn't just a U.S. phenomenon. When we look at European data, there's significant variation across countries, but also some troubling signs. According to Eurostat, while 83.5% of recent graduates in the EU were employed in 2023, that still leaves 16.5% unemployed.
The disparities within Europe are quite revealing. Malta leads with an impressive 95.8% employment rate for graduates, while Italy lags far behind at just 67.5%. Other strong performers include the Netherlands at 93.2% and Germany at 91.5%, whereas countries like Greece at 72.3% and Romania at 74.8% sit near the bottom.
Those are significant differences. And it's worth noting that we're seeing this trend worsen in recent years. Data from the St. Louis Federal Reserve shows young college graduates between ages 23 and 27 are experiencing unemployment rates that average 4.59% in 2025, a stark contrast to the 3.25% rate this same demographic experienced in 2019.
That's a 1.34 percentage point increase, which is substantially higher than the increases seen in other demographic groups. For context, non-college educated workers in the same age range have seen only a 0.47 percentage point increase in unemployment, while older college graduates have experienced just a 0.38 percentage point rise.
Let's dig deeper into what's driving this trend. I think we're seeing multiple factors at play here. First, there's the structural shift in hiring in the tech sector. Many companies dramatically expanded their workforce after the pandemic, but are now pulling back. Second, and perhaps more concerning for the long term, is the impact of artificial intelligence on entry-level positions.
That's a crucial point, Michael. According to J.P. Morgan Global Research, AI is already having a measurable impact on graduate unemployment. They found that majors with high exposure to AI, including computer engineering, graphic design, and architecture, have experienced significant increases in graduate unemployment.
One quote from their research really stands out to me. They note that, to the extent that exposure to AI displaces some workers with specific majors, new entrants from those majors could be at a greater disadvantage since experience could offset some of the skills that are now obsolete with AI-performed tasks.
That's particularly concerning because it suggests we may be seeing a fundamental shift in the labor market, not just a temporary adjustment. And it's affecting traditionally high-paying fields. Workers in computer occupations have seen unemployment rates jump from an average of 1.98% in 2019 to 3.02% in 2025, a substantial increase for a field that typically enjoys very low unemployment.
The geographical differences are also telling. In Europe, there's an interesting pattern where university graduates typically enjoy lower unemployment rates than the general population, with one notable exception. Turkey. It's the only European country where graduates face higher unemployment than the overall population.
That's fascinating and potentially a cautionary tale. According to the OECD, Turkey's rapid expansion of universities from 53 public universities in 2003 to 204 total universities today has outpaced job creation for graduates. eroding the traditional benefits of having a degree.
So let's pivot to solutions. What policy measures could help address this growing challenge of graduate unemployment? There are strategies being implemented and proposed across various Western economies.
One approach is to strengthen the connection between education and employment. The Brookings Institution has recommended fully funding community colleges, expanding registered apprenticeship programs, and establishing career internship standards. These measures help ensure that students acquire skills that are directly relevant to employer needs.
Those are important steps. Another strategy is to provide better support for recent graduates during the transition to work. This could include expanding the Earned Income Tax Credit to younger workers, which helps supplement income while they're establishing themselves professionally.
We're also seeing calls for targeted programs that address specific barriers graduates face. For example, creating incentives for public-private partnerships that connect young graduates with employment opportunities, or increasing the size of national service programs like AmeriCorps, which provide valuable work experience.
Skills mismatch is another critical issue we need to address. Many graduates emerge with qualifications that don't align with labor market needs. This suggests we need better labor market information systems that identify current and future skills needs and inform educational programming.
Absolutely, Michael. In Europe, countries with strong vocational education systems like Germany and the Netherlands consistently show lower graduate unemployment rates. Their dual education systems, which combine classroom learning with workplace training, create smoother pathways from education to employment.
Entrepreneurship support is another promising direction. Enhancing comprehensive entrepreneurship programs and providing self-employment support for graduates could create alternative pathways to meaningful work. This is particularly relevant as traditional employment patterns continue to evolve.
I'd also highlight the importance of adaptability. With AI and automation rapidly changing the skills landscape, graduates need to continuously update their capabilities. Policies that support lifelong learning and reskilling will be crucial for long-term employment security.
That's a great point. The traditional model where a one-time education prepares you for a lifetime career is becoming increasingly outdated. We need systems that support continual skill development as technologies and industries evolve.
Looking at international comparisons can also provide valuable insights. The EU has set a target of increasing employment rates of recent medium vocational education graduates to 82% by 2025. 9 EU countries had already reached this target by 2024, including Germany, the Netherlands, and Ireland.
These policies reflect a recognition that graduate unemployment isn't just an individual problem. It's a societal challenge with significant economic implications. When young, educated people can't fully utilize their skills, it represents a lost opportunity for productivity and innovation.
It also has serious personal consequences. Research indicates that early career unemployment can have a scarring effect, negatively impacting long-term employment prospects and lifetime earnings. That's why addressing this issue proactively is so important.
As we wrap up, what would you say are the key takeaways for policymakers and educational institutions looking to address graduate unemployment?
I think there are 3 critical priorities. First, strengthen the alignment between education and employment through better cooperation between universities and employers. Second, create support systems for the education to work transition that acknowledge the challenges of today's labor market. And third, build flexibility and adaptability into both education systems and policy frameworks to respond to rapid technological change.
Those are excellent recommendations, Emma. And I'd add that we need to approach this with urgency. The data suggests this isn't just a cyclical problem that will resolve itself with economic growth. It's a structural shift that requires intentional policy responses.
Absolutely. The future of work is evolving, and our approaches to education and employment need to evolve with it. For Western economies to remain competitive and provide opportunities for their educated workforce, innovation in both policy and educational models will be essential.
That brings us to the end of today's exploration of graduate unemployment in Western economies. Thank you for joining us on Economic Frontiers. I'm Michael Reynolds.
And I'm Emma Chen. If you found this episode